Hey, friends, welcome to this week's Star Report. This is Jason, and it is Wednesday, the 11th of January, 2023. Oh my gosh, I forgot where we were and what year it was. Let's jump right into the report, starting with the sun. The sun has been active, and as I have the shop here in downtown Brenham, Texas, New Dimensions Crystals and Reiki, a number of my customers, clients, friends have come in expressing that they are feeling overwhelmed, anxious, and having not heart issues, but definitely sort of feeling that anxiety in the upper chest region in between the throat chakra and the heart chakra, which sometimes is called the higher heart or the thymus. And that anxiety over the last week, or that feeling of uneasiness, has had a couple of things. The astrological stuff has been speaking to that about the anxiety and stuff like that. But also the sun has been more active. It's waking up for its next peak. And that activity has been a bunch of M class. So those are minor solar flares with a couple of M classes, right? And so, reminder, when those things happen, it sends an electric shock or a stimulation through the connection from the sun and the earth to us. And since we're grounded or in the earth's atmosphere, that electricity sort of bleeds through into the cause, or into where we are, and causes our electrical systems to sort of get a little boost. And so sometimes a higher heart rate will even happen, but most of the time it's just a feeling of uneasiness when those solar flares happen. And so solar flares are when there are pops on the sun, and then coronal mass ejections are when actually some of the plasma releases from the sun and comes towards Earth. There have been some CMEs, but they have not been Earth directed. And so basically, I think over the last day, to sort of give you a hint or a clue about how it's been, I think there were 3 or 4 class and 1 X class over the last 24 hours that sort of would have sent that shockwave through. So if over the last couple of days you've been feeling that, that's because there's been an uptick in solar flaring. So the way to mind that is notice that it's not an anxiety attack, that there are solar events happening. And then you want to just breathe in your nose and out your mouth. And then if it still sort of persists, you want to double the amount of your exhale. So if you're inhaling, the average person can breathe for a full lung 6 seconds in, or 6 counts in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you want to double your exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sometimes that'll feel like you're getting really low or trying to push air out, but that'll actually enhance some calm and sort of regulate that sort of energy, that anxiety. And so, interesting. Just a little message that popped up and then caught my attention. So anyway, pay attention to that, breathe into that, and let's jump right into the astrological report. Today's Wednesday, nothing's really happening besides the sun going crazy, which is actually in the cosmos. It's actually up there in the stars. So it is part of the star report. It is our star. And so moving from our star further outward, nothing is really affecting us that hasn't been affecting us today, Wednesday. Tomorrow, Thursday, Mars begins its move direct. And so Mars has been, from what I understand and from the conversations I've had here and the customers I've been working with, Mars has had the greatest effect on people. And so Mars went retrograde October 30th, right? So beginning Halloween till tomorrow, there has been an increased focus or working out of anger and fear, which is sort of the underbelly of the masculine energy of Mars, or sometimes the warlike attitude of Mars. And so we've been working on untapped fear, untapped anger, being around family, being around the holidays, being in close proximity, messing with our regular routine of Monday through Friday of work life with all the vacation time. There's been this really big focus on what are you creating and what kind of anger and fear are you carrying with you that is prohibiting you that? Are you angry at something in the past, which keeps you dwelling something in the past? Are you fearful of a future? Are you fearful of people from your past not approving of your future, right? So those kinds of themes have been active since October 30th, and that anger and fear sometimes even moves over into control, right? We've been trying to control others' anger. We've been trying to deny our own fear. And so, sort of pay attention to what's happened since October 30th till now and govern how well you've been doing with the anger, with the fear. And it's not bad that you have anger or fear. It's how are you working through it? How is that investing in your life, in your relationships? Sort of pay attention to that. And good thing about Mars retrograde, it usually happens only every 2 years. So we got 2 year respite over that trigger. And so that leads us into Friday the 13th, first Friday the 13th of 2023. Usually Friday the 13th is an energy of completion, magic. A lot of times numerologically, even in the understanding in the West, for the people that are, or the majority of the people that are Christians or practicing Christians, there's 12 disciples and then there's one Jesus. So that 13 completion. There's the zodiac, the 12 signs, then there's you, or there's the 13th zodiac, Chiron, that got added recently or has always been there. Who knows? But that Friday the 13th energy is really a feminine energy where the capacity to create a whole is highlighted, right? So this Friday the 13th isn't something to be feared, but something embraced. And with Mars going direct, the balance of masculine and feminine energy comes back into, or starts to come back into parity, where obviously since October 30th, Mars is a masculine, anger, controlling, direct energy, and so now there's more capacity to see, observe, patience, all kinds of stuff that are not anger and fear and control. And so pay attention to that energy as it starts to balance out on Friday. And that sort of leads us into the weekend's going to be nice and calm, not a whole lot of meteor showers. I would suggest that the sun is probably going to continue to uptick, right? And so with this relief in cosmic weather that is outside of the sun, that's going to be really good for us. And Wednesday, so we're already to the end of Mercury retrograde. So next Wednesday, so a week from today, Mercury goes direct. And so if you've been waiting to do contracts, if you've been having communication issues, if you stutter during a broadcast, then that is going to start to go better for you. It's going to go smoother. And basically, you're not going to be having inner dialogue while you're doing outer dialogue. It's going to be a direct from source outward instead of conversation about what's going on in the mind, what's going on in the heart, and how should I say that. It's going to get a much clearer, right? And so sort of watch for that to transition over the week ahead with the sun, right? And so that communication issue is going to be still governed by the sun causing heart palpitations or that anxiety, that place in the upper chest and the thymus region. So pay attention to that, which leaves us after that, or we currently would stay in Mercury retrograde, but that would leave just Uranus in retrograde. And so Uranus is also probably contributing to this Mars retrograde, anger, fear, control. Uranus is about independence, being rebellious for no reason, image, right? Who are you, right? So you've been working since Uranus has been in retrograde. I believe it's 3 months now, 4. Image, your message. Who are you been working on? What's your message to humanity, right? What's the point of the star report? What's the point of what I wear? What's the point of the background? What message am I trying to present? Would it be Uranus energy, right? And how are you helping? Why would you want to help? What's the better message to help? Should you tweak your message to help humanity? All those kinds of things would have been Uranus energy, right? And those would be inward struggles that you're trying to test out on the outward sort of stuff. And then, like, what's your life purpose, right? A lot of people, when they get down to the spiritual rabbit holes of what's going on in the cosmos, what's going on in culture, what's going on in the conspiracy world, what's going on in the space world, what's going on in religion world, they always get to a place where it's overwhelming, where all these potentialities and these moving pieces, and they like wonder, well, what's the point, or what's the purpose, and then what's my purpose, right? And so the purpose of being alive, the purpose of humanity, those are really large subjects, but really what you have control over is what is your role in that, or what would you like your role to be? And so Uranus has been that kind of energy. Funnily enough, 2020 makes it 242 years since modern astrologers or astronomers, I guess people that are using telescopes or astronomers, found or rediscovered the planet. And so 1781, just an important year, so you can sort of pay attention to what is happening in 2023 and sort of what might be governing that kind of energy. 1781 was the end of the American Revolutionary in that year. And then also, actually, I think the discovery was right before the end of the Revolutionary War, but also that was the year of the first United States when the Constitution was the Articles of Confederation that lasted the first couple of years. And so Articles of Confederation was in between before we had our U.S. Constitution with the Bill of Rights and all that fun stuff, right? So 2023 is going to have that same balanced energy of what is this new creation as a country, as a world, as an individual, right? And so that it might even be an in-between period, right? So the Articles of Confederation before we had the Bill of Rights, where we put into paperwork the rights of individual over the government, over larger corporations, over larger religions, right? The individual soul was important because the individual soul began to be looked at as a part of the whole, as a fractal of the oneness. And so that kind of energy is 2023 with this 242 years of discovery of Uranus while it's in retrograde, right? So what are you with this Uranus energy? Besides your anger, besides your ability to communicate it, what are you? So this is really a discovery in your mind, and maybe over the next couple of days, next couple of years, you're really discovering how that self-image goes outward, right? So good energy for the week. I believe that's all. For those of you that are local, I'm going to try and get up the ability to purchase the class on Sunday at 10 a.m. to 11:30. Back up, I think it deactivated either on the website or the play part, so I'm going to try to put that back up. The price is going up to $33 here in 2023, but just for these last couple of weeks of January, it'll still be the $22 for that class. So pay attention. If by chance I haven't gotten it up by today, you can still call the shop and say that you want to come on Sunday at 10 a.m. to 11:30, and that is Elemental Rhythm Breakthrough Breathwork Session. And we will be doing that this Sunday, sort of helping you breathe through the sun, through Mars, through Mercury, through Uranus, so that we can decide who we are and how we fit in, and maybe even change the world for the better by deciding that we're better than what we've settled for. Until next time, many blessings.